What's going on, YouTube? OCD for EDC here, and what I got for your face balls today, we're going to be talking about knives that are dangerous. Knives in your collection that will make you bleed your own blood. And I've got a handful of them here, and every single one of these has drawn blood on me multiple times, as a matter of fact. And whether that's because I'm just dumb or because I'm not handling them correctly, either way, the fact of the matter is these things will make you leak some. And I'm a firm believer that you have to keep a fresh blood supply. So leaking a little bit from time to time just keeps new blood, keeps your blood fresh. So I'm not necessarily opposed to it, but it happens. One thing before we get into it here, one thing I wanted to talk about a little bit. So you guys see, I disassemble a lot of knives and videos and whatnot, and I'm constantly using some type of lubricant. Generally, it's KPL, and these have been used a lot. They're getting pretty low, but all the writing has rubbed off of these. But this is KPL Original. This is KPL Heavy. And I was going to replace some of this because I have enjoyed it. These were given to me quite some time ago, several months ago. I don't remember exactly when I got them, but I've had them for quite a while. And I looked them up, and this is like, I don't even know what I can't really see it on there. So I don't know what the quantity of oil is in these, but they're very small bottles. And it's $30 for the pair of these. $30. So that seemed a little crazy to me. And so, yeah, anyway, I got a little bit of a different setup that I'm going to show you here today. And it's this thing right here. I picked this up, and it is called the Titan Precision Oiler. I'll throw a link up in the description where you can pick this up. This little applicator here is $9. So it's like $8.99, something like that. Check the links in the description. And so the way this works, this is all aluminum, by the way, but you've got a needle style applicator on the end, and you just push the button and oil comes out. I don't want to make a huge mess, but I'll show you here. There you go. And it does a really nice job. It doesn't leak, which is one of the things I was concerned about, and it doesn't seem to have any issues with that. I like the fact that it has an O-ring on there, and you can screw the cap back on and it seals up. The back side here, you can unscrew this, and you can see there's a little plunger there, and you can see the oil. So this is refillable with whatever type of lubricant you want to use. Get that thing back in there. There we go. And I'll show you the lubricant that I have been using, and it's good quality lubricant, much, much cheaper than KPL. These are insane prices. And what I've been using here is this Lucas Oil CLP. You can see here it says cleans, lubricates, and protects. They use this for the pew-pews, but it works extremely well for knives and just all sorts of around the house uses. It says here, great for general shop and home use too. So anyway, I'll throw a link up in the description where you can get both of these products if you're interested and want to try out this Lucas CLP. This is a 4-ounce container, and I'm wanting to say it's like, I don't know, $9 or $10 or something. I don't remember off the top of my head, but for significantly less money than what you can purchase these two for, you can get this setup right here, which is reusable, and you've got enough oil to last you years and years and years if all you're doing is knife stuff. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there. So like I said, check out the links in the description. Let's get into knives that make you bleed your own blood. So the first one I've got two examples of, and this one's not as bad as some of the others, but here are the two knives, and I'll get into why these things make you bleed your own blood. So there's several examples of this, but I mean, you guys know with access locks, everybody likes to fidget with them. They're fun to fidget with, and that's great. The bug out is a great fidget knife, and so is the Hogue Deca, which is what this is, by the way. Benchmade bug out, Hogue Deca. However, the problem here is, if you look, you see where the blade comes, and there's not a lot of, the blade takes up, 99% of the handle, if you will. So you got a good blade to handle ratio, which is great, and I like that. However, With an access lock knife, most people put the butt of the knife in the palm of their hand to then pull back the access bar. Whether you're right or left-handed, this is generally how people operate these knives. And on certain occasions, if you're not paying attention and you're just, whipping the knife around, what'll happen is the meat in your hand will be, you'll pull it down in your palm, and the meat will kind of pooch up around the end, and the blade will come and get you right on the palm of the hand right there. It's happened to me several times. I don't have a cut there right at the moment, but it has happened. So any knife that is an access style lock, or in this case an able lock, and it has a really good, or what I'm going to call a good blade to handle ratio, you run the risk of having this happen. I'm sure this has happened to other people. I'm sure I'm not the only one out there that's had this happen. But so this is first on the list. We're just going to call it access locks that have a good blade to handle ratio, because they'll all get you. Those just happen to be two of the better examples that I have. All right, next one up. The Cold Steel 8015. This knife really just, the reason this thing will bite you really comes down to the lock style. And I've had this cut, well, I've cut myself with it, as well as several people have cut themselves, non-knife people, people that don't really fidget with knives a lot, and they think this one's cool. And it really comes down to just, it's odd to hang on to. The scorpion lock here is moving, and it's easy to, one, have this knife be in a state that's not all the way open or closed, and then it becomes a little strange, and you can actually get your fingers in between there and get on the blade in some scenarios. A couple of my son's friends have done that. But anyway, so the 8015, it's one that you're not necessarily going to want to hand this to someone that is not a knife person and doesn't really know what they're doing, I guess, because they may end up leaking a little bit. All right, next on the list, we're gonna do the Weeble Cow. So I'm kind of going in order of like least egregious to most egregious violations of what'll cut you. But the Weeble Cow, this is 100% all about the mechanics of this knife. And so this knife is on bearings. It's one that I like a lot. I really like the knife. I like the size of it. I like larger knives, and most of you guys are going to know that. But this operates more like a back lock. However, it's kind of similar to the 8015 or one of my all-time favorite EDC knives, the Buck Marksman, or in this case, the SK Blades Inferno. And where you have this kind of back strap affair. These two are kind of similar, and the Weeble Cow is kind of in that same vein. It's a little different the way it operates. So you can see here that it's on bearings. The blade is very, very free when it's not locked, closed, or open. And then when you open the knife, it raises the back lock, and then it snaps over and locks into that little groove there. So let me unlock it. You can see the little groove just like that. Well, where the problem lies is not a problem if you slow roll it open. However, I've had several people go to slow roll this, and that happens right there. Because the knife is so free, as soon as they slow roll it out, it leaves their thumb, but they didn't fling the blade open hard enough to actually lock. So then it comes bouncing back just like that. And if your fingers are in the way, you're getting cut, son. So definitely this is one that you have to respect. And, when it comes to opening this knife, you want to do it with authority. You don't want to, mess around and not fling it out there hard. Or you want to, slow roll it, break it open past that little detent and then lock it in. Once it's locked open, it's a fantastic lock. It works great. And it's just a really beautiful knife all the way around. I really like it. But like I said, it's one that'll get you. Several people have been cut by this knife, no doubt. All right. So, what do we got here? We got the Access Lock knives. We got the AD-15. We got the Weeble Cow. All right, next one up. This one, this isn't really a knife that you're going to be, I don't like just EDC this thing, but it will get you. So it's on the list, and it's this guy right here. This is the Paragon knives made by Asheville Steel, and this is the Stiletto. And this is a single action OTF. It's gigantic. It's like a 5 3/4 inch blade, something like that. S30V, made here in the States. Really cool knife, aluminum handle. But the way this thing operates, you can see you've got, because it's a single action OTF, you have to charge the spring. So you've got this little knurled area that sticks out right here, and you have to press the button and then slide this knife back into the handle to charge the spring. And all that's fine, and it stays locked in, you can see right there. However, the cutting edge is all along this groove. And so the problem with that is if you have your fingers along here anywhere, and you push the button, this blade is cutting into your fingers. No doubt about it. It happened. Actually, this knife, I handed this knife to my son when I first got it. I actually traded for this knife. I handed it to my son because he wanted to check it out. And within, I think it was the very first time he pushed the button, he cut his fingers, like all 3 fingers. You can see I've got a cut that's healing up right there. But all 3 fingers he had like this, and he pushed the button. And what happened was the blade came about halfway out, and his fingers stopped it right here. But the damage was already done because the groove is wide enough that you can get your fingers down in there to get onto that cutting edge. It's kind of hard to see. Let me see if I can throw a little flashlight on it. So you can see the cutting edge right down in there. It's pretty close to the edge, and this one isn't such a huge problem for me, but it's definitely one that multiple people have cut themselves with, messing around with my knives. So, interesting knife. I like it. It's cool. It's well made. US made knife, but yeah, there you go. The Stiletto, that one will get you. All right. Next up, this one happens to be a custom made knife, and this is a custom Russian made knife from a maker called Mechanic Knives. And this one here is sporting CPM S125V blade steel. So we got a really, really ultra premium blade steel. We have lightning strike carbon fiber. It's got embedded aluminum wire in it. Really cool, like kind of lava looking pivot, which is super cool. Also on the back side there. And then you got this orange peel look on the pocket clip, which is really, really awesome. Titanium pocket clip. And you can see it's a full deep carry. Titanium liners. Nice, nice knife. All right. So right here on the end, that blade is literally the same length as the knife handles. So, I can, if I used something, so I'm not cutting myself, let me see here. I've got a little cleaning cloth here. But if I do this, oh, maybe not. Yeah, there we go. I can open the knife right out of the end like that. So if I put my finger on that cloth and kind of push it in there, I can pull the knife blade out. So I'm overcoming the detent to do that. But you can see there, that knife blade is right at the very end. And the gap in between there is absolutely large enough to get your finger and cut yourself. The other spot where this knife is a problem, so it's got that going on, as well as that right there. Let me see if I can get the light right here. So you can see here, the cutting edge is right there. And it's almost the same height as the knife. There you go. You can kind of see the cutting. Let me get the flashlight back in here again. You can see the cutting edge right there. Yeah, look at how high that sticks up. You can see it right there. Yeah, it's crazy. And so this thing will 100% cut the hell out of you. So when it's in your pocket, and you're fishing around in your pocket to get something, well, you can see the reflection off the edge right there. So it will absolutely cut you and cut you open good right down there. So you got about I don't know, it's probably 3/8 of an inch a blade or something that'll get you right there. So this knife, you have it in 2 areas, and I still love the knife. Don't get me wrong. You just have to respect it because this thing will bite you, and definitely make you bleed your own blood. So to me, I feel like it's just true to form with it being a Russian custom. And I feel like if you were to complain about something like that, they would just say, "Suck it up," and yeah, you just have to leak a little bit if you want to carry a knife like this. You assume like play at your own risk kind of a thing. So there you go, the Mechanic custom knives, and it will bite you. All right, next one up, and this is the last one, and I'm actually going to change this knife, but I like this knife a lot. I've had it for a couple weeks now. I've carried it several times. This is one that my good buddy BJ over at Hilltop Knives and Gear, by the way, if you guys haven't checked out his channel, go over there and do that. He actually just modded one for LTK over at Love Them Knives. I'm sure anybody watching my channel knows who LTK is. But he and I had talked about this knife quite a bit, and it's a real interesting model. And it's one that I have come to like quite a bit. And it is the Spydercotropin. It's an amazing knife. Smooth G10, contoured scales. It is a flipper, as well as you have this wave hook and the Spidey hole, which all of it works. You can thumb flick it with the wave. You can finger flick it and Spidey flick it and do all of those fun things. And of course, the flipper tab works perfectly. It is a compression lock knife. That's where the problem lies. And I will show you why right there. So I don't even have to get the light out to show you. That blade will absolutely cut the shit out of you. There's no 2 ways about it. That, about, again, 3/8 of an inch or so, maybe a little more than that, close to a 1/2 inch, will absolutely cut you. If your finger is anywhere close to that area when that blade comes swinging down, it's not just cutting you, it's laying you open good. So, this is one of those situations where if your finger was there when that blade came down, it absolutely, you're going to feel that thing inside you. Which is, that's always that moment when you cut yourself and it's really bad and you like distinctly remember the way the steel felt as it was gliding deep into your skin. Those are always the fun ones. Good Lord. Cut myself here. But anyway, so the Tropin, this is the most egregious knife that I have right at the moment for just being a blatant just misstep on the engineering of the knife. I mean, that thing absolutely is going to cut you open bad. Now, because it's got a flipper tab, if you put your finger in there and let the blade fall, it stops your finger, stops the blade right there, almost like a half stop, which is, I'm sure, what Spyderco was thinking when they made this. And so you absolutely have to move your finger in order to let the blade come the rest of the way down. However, there are situations that you will, just going to pick up the knife, just grabbing it, you absolutely can get your finger right on that blade. And if that were to fall down and I'm pushing the blade like this, if I were to get that like right there, that blade is literally going to come right underneath my fingernail if I'm pushing that compression lock open. And I don't know about you guys, but just the thought of that blade coming that far and separating my fingernail from my finger just kind of makes the hair stand up on the back of my neck a little bit. So, it's one thing to cut yourself. It's a whole nother deal to have that blade go underneath your fingernail. So, maybe that's just me, but yeah, it's not a pretty sight, and I'm glad that it's never happened to me. However, I did on the very first day when I got this knife, I did cut myself with it. So this thing has drawn blood on me for sure. So anyway, there's the list. We got the Spydercotropin, the Mechanic custom knives, the Weeble Cow, the AD-15, the Stiletto from Paragon, and then any kind of access or able style lock where you have a really good blade to handle ratio. You need to be careful with these. I'm telling you. So anyway, guys, leave comments down below. Let me hear your knife stories. Do you have one knife that has drawn blood on you multiple times? If so, which one is it? Do you guys have any of these knives? Have these knives drawn blood on you guys? If so, put your stories down below. I'd love to hear them, love to read them. And yeah, hope everybody enjoys this video. And we will catch you next time. Thanks.